covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
New tonight, we take you on an exclusive tour behind the scenes of the Butte County Jail expansion.
Also new tonight, Chico's fire chief is set to request hiring more firefighters for a needed staffing boost. We'll tell you what part of town may benefit the most.
And a teen facing murder charges won't be tried as an adult. Why a local judge denied the district attorney's request.
But first, we're tracking severe fire danger across our region. It's hot, it's dry, and in some areas, windy. This is a live look over Lake Oroville on this early Monday evening. And
Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is tracking conditions for us. Howie, do we still have that severe weather warning in effect?
Yeah, red flag warning is not set to expire until 8 p.m., but I've noticed a few changes in the variables we'll go into right now. Now, we're very, very hot temperatures. If you want a little relief from Redding, go down to Chico where it's only 95 or 91 in Oroville. Kind of a joke, but not, because we are super hot across the area and on that dry side, helping you dry out the vegetation in terms of the grasses, the trees, the roots, the soil moisture in the roots of the plants. Now, talk about these winds. These winds are starting to come down, so the warning could possibly be allowed to expire. That's a call for the National Weather Service, but winds are coming down, but what's really down are our moisture levels. 15% or lower, very dangerously low in terms of our moisture for our relative humidity, and you see some of these numbers at 6 and 9%. So again, red flag warning still allowed to go and last until 8 p.m. for now. But here's what we have for tomorrow. Today is moderate in terms of fire danger, but we're going to be hot, we'll be breezy and dry once again, but we're going to keep our fire potential on the moderate side. We'll touch more on these warnings as well as the heat in just a moment.
Thanks, Howie.
New at 6, the Shasta County Sheriff's Department arrested a Redding man they say tried to meet with a minor for sex.
The Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit had an undercover decoy posing as a 13-year-old girl on an online platform. The suspect, 55-year-old Philip Anderson, according to authorities, was sending explicit texts to the undercover decoy throughout the month of May. Then last Wednesday, they say that Anderson was planning to meet with who he thought was a 13-year-old, but was instead taken into custody. Anderson was arraigned Friday at the Shasta County Superior Court on 5 charges, including sending harmful material to a minor. A teenager accused of killing an Oroville man will not be tried for murder as an adult. He's now 19 years old. The suspect is accused of shooting and killing Oroville man Ronnie Frazier in 2023. Butte County DA Mike Ramsey wanted to prosecute him as an adult, noting that he was previously on probation for severely beating a homeless man. Today, a judge denied that request, noting the suspect experienced significant prior trauma, a lack of stability in his home, and that he used drugs as a coping mechanism. We'll hear from Frazier's mother, the victim's mother, about what this means for her hopes for justice for her son tomorrow on Action News Now.
The Butte County Jail expansion is nearing completion with plans to open as soon as August.
That's pretty soon, and the new jail expansion includes 96 new beds and a mental health wing with over 30 beds. Final construction details are being completed right now, and staffing hurdles remain with a new recruitment plan launching next month. Some of the new features include 6 new classrooms. Butte County Sheriff Corey Honey says that the classrooms are aimed at helping inmates learn.
And in those classrooms, we'll be able to provide a whole host of programs that we hope will help the people who are incarcerated here address the underlying causes of their criminal behavior. So they could be standard educational programs, GED, things of that nature. There are also a whole host of programs designed to help people learn the basic necessities of living in the society that we have today.
Once the newly expanded jail opens up, again, possibly August, Sheriff Honey says they'll start doing the booking process in the expansion and transfer many of the female inmates over first. This project has been long awaited as Sheriff Honey started it back in 2011.
New tonight, Chico's fire chief wants to hire 6 firefighters to make an incoming engine an addition rather than a replacement. It would run resources in the downtown area at Station 1 on Salem Street. I asked Chief Steve Standridge about the impacts for public safety. Having this additional engine at Station 1, how is that going to help people who live in the area?
When we have a structure fire, we deplete the city of almost every apparatus that we have. And we consistently will continue to have calls for service. It could be a medical call, it could be a traffic accident. If it's a long enough duration, we'll call people back in, but we have to wait for them to get in. There's a reflex time for calling out people to come in. They drive in, they got to get their gear, they go to the station and staff a reserve unit. Well, this extra engine gives us capacity that we don't have right now.
This would bring staffing up to 21 on duty and all times, including the battalion chief there at Station 1. Chief Standridge will present cost estimates and ideas for how to pay for it at tomorrow night's Chico City Council meeting.
The city of Reading has filed a lawsuit against Big League Dreams, the ballpark, the previous operators of the Reading Sports Complex. An Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is live at Reading City Hall. Jesse, you've been working to find out more about this lawsuit. What have you learned?
Well, Alan, what I found out is that this 100-page lawsuit of alleging over $6.1 million in damages was filed against Big League Dreams on May 20th. The city of Reading says that the former operators of the Reading Sports Complex owe back rent, back utilities, as well as damages caused by neglect to the park, among other items. According to the lawsuit, Big League Dreams was to pay revenue-based quarterly rent to the city, but failed to make any payments from February of 2020 to December of 2022. In addition, the city says there were also unpaid utility bills totaling nearly $70,000. Also, the city says the park was neglected and suffered damages as a result. They say even though the park is now being managed by the city, the damages only allow for reduced services at the park until further improvements are made. I reached out to the city manager who told me they couldn't make any further comment except what was already in the complaint. I also reached out to Big League Dreams, but did not receive a response. Live in Reading, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Thank you, Jesse. A tentative court date for the lawsuit has been scheduled for February of 2026. New at 6, we are hearing from Tehama County supervisors about a criminal investigation launched by the Tehama County Sheriff's Office. This investigation is into allegations involving some board members and some department heads.
This all stems from a report of a possible DUI driver March 5th. That driver was County Supervisor Patty Nolan. Well, police stopped Nolan, found she had no measurable amount of alcohol in her system, and the sheriff's office says the call came from the Tehama County Administration building, and that now his office is investigating whether any laws were broken in that reporting. But Supervisors Rob Burrows, Tom Walker, Matt Hansen, and Greg Jones issued a news release late this afternoon saying that the call was made to police after Nolan left a meeting and a cup that she left behind smelled of alcohol. They all say that the district attorney's office tested that cup and later confirmed it did have alcohol, an alcoholic beverage in it. Now you can read Supervisor Nolan's response to the sheriff's investigation and the other board members' full news release about why they called the police. Find this story on our Action News Now homepage. Local emergency agencies today participated in a high-risk training exercise at Chico State's Whitney Hall. Action News Now reporter Sade Pullen shows us why this is so important.
Whitney Hall was the place to be earlier today for the Butte County Interagency Rescue Group, Chico Fire, Butte County Search and Rescue, and CAL FIRE. These agencies conducted a few scenarios involving multiple trained responders simulating victim rescues by rappelling down from upper floors and the roof of Whitney Hall.
The scenario that we're showing today is a window washer that has fallen, broken either a pelvis, femur in the fall. And that's why you see the rescuer lower down with a Stokes basket, which is a large piece of metal that we angulate in different positions to scoop up that victim and allow them to safely be placed inside of it. At that point, we can transition them to the ground.
They use stoke baskets, ropes, and ties to act out the scenarios. Gibson tells me that first responders get calls in different scenarios all the time, but this time they wanted to use a more urban environment. That's why they chose Whitney Hall. I talked to the victim of one of the scenarios to get his perspective.
I was washing windows on Whitney Hall 7th story, and I had a cardiac event, so I was unable to lower myself down from my window washing duties, and I was able to call 911, and they were here, the rescue team, to set up a retrieval device to help get me to the ground.
The participants told me that the training exercises was a little bit nerve-wracking at first, but they say it got easier as they kept practicing. Reporting in Chico, I'm Sade Pullen with Action News Now.
Chico State's Whitney Hall is Chico's tallest building north of Sacramento. New developments in the complaint filed against a Chico Unified School District volleyball coach.
Now, the school district says the coach has been cleared of all claims. Now, we told you back in March when several Chico High volleyball players filed a formal complaint against the head coach, Chaz Konopka. They said at the time that his style of coaching was mean and rude and out of line. According to Chico High Athletics Director Jason Alvester, the district did launch an investigation and decided Coach Konopka will remain in his position as coach. A traveling Vietnam War memorial is making its way to Butte County. We'll tell you where you can see it